Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Welcome back to Connecting the Dots. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan. Today's Tuesday, October 21st, 2025.
And we've got the analysis you need for today's tech world, really looking at how things like hardware, software, and even jobs are starting to blend together.
Absolutely. Before we get started, a quick look outside. Here in Sacramento, beautiful, sunny, high around 80 degrees.
Nice. Nationally, though, things are a bit more varied. Keep an eye on that elevated fire risk in the southern plains, particularly north central Texas. Still very dry there.
Yeah, up in the Northeast, still seeing some of that unsettled weather lake effect moisture coming off Lake Erie.
Okay, and the markets. Looking pretty positive yesterday.
Yeah, definitely an optimistic close. The Dow Jones climbed almost 400 points. That's up 0.85%.
And the S&P 500 followed suit, right?
It did, gained 0.67%. Good showing.
Only real dip was Bitcoin, took a small step back.
Down about 1.79%, closed just over the $108,000 mark.
All right. Now, before we jump into the tech stories, a quick thank you to our sponsor, Old Glory.
That's right. They've got fantastic music and sports fan merchandise. You know, if you're looking for holiday gifts, maybe for that techie friend who also loves music or sports. Perfect spot.
Definitely. Head over to oldglory.com and listen, use our promo code SNARFUL, that's SNARFUL, and you'll get 15% off your entire order.
Great deal. Okay, so let's get into it. Our focus today is really convergence, how AI is kind of blurring the lines between devices, services, even jobs.
Yeah, and we're starting with maybe the ultimate example of blurring lines, the Oakley Meta Vanguard smart glasses.
Right. These are performance sunglasses. They cost $499, look like typical wraparound sports shades.
But they're packed with tech, audio, camera, Meta's AI. It's all in there.
They're clearly going after the fitness crowd, right? People who want to capture what they're seeing first person, but totally hands-free.
And the hardware seems pretty solid this time around.
Yeah, they seem to have learned a few things. The glasses are rugged, weatherproof, and the camera upgrade is key.
What'd they do?
It's a 12-megapixel ultra-wide. Captures 3K video. But crucially, they moved it. It's centered now, right above the nose bridge.
So it won't get blocked by your hat brim or helmet visor anymore?
Exactly. That was a huge complaint before. A really necessary fix for actual athletes using these things.
Makes sense. You don't want to be fiddling with gear mid-run. But the hands-free part, that's the big draw, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Just say, hey, Meta, start recording or start taking video, and boom, you're capturing content.
But what really gives these glasses their sort of fitness cred this time is the Garmin integration.
That's the game changer. Because, the previous Meta glasses, they didn't really offer serious performance data.
Right.
Now, these Vanguards can pull real-time stats from your Garmin watch pace, heart rate zones, things serious athletes actually use to manage their effort.
And it feeds that info directly into your ear.
Yep, through open-ear speakers, so you get that instant feedback without blocking out the world.
So instant coaching and instant social media fodder, because you can overlay those stats onto the video clips, right?
Precisely. Your Garmin or Strava data, right there on your video. Perfect for quick hits on TikTok or Reels. The clips are limited, 30 seconds a minute, 3-5 minutes, ideal sizes.
Okay, sounds cool, but there's got to be a catch.
Well, yeah, the setup. Reviewers said it's a bit of a nightmare.
Oh, how so?
You need to pair 3 things separately. The Meta AI app on your phone, the glasses themselves, and your Garmin watch or app. 3 layers.
Oof, that sounds finicky.
It is. Apparently, a lot of reviewers struggle to get all 3 talking to each other consistently. Especially on their first few workouts. Some workouts just fail to track properly because of it.
So powerful idea, but maybe the execution needs work for regular folks.
Exactly. Needs to be simpler if they want it to go mainstream.
And beyond the setup hassle, there's the data question, isn't there?
Always. You're strapping 5 microphones and a high-def camera to your face.
And feeding potentially sensitive health, location, and visual data straight to Meta.
Right. That's the big trade-off you have to consider. How much of your biometric data and, frankly, your view of the world are you willing to share just to get cool stat overlays on your videos?
It's a significant point.
It is. Reviewers really emphasize checking those data and privacy settings very carefully, given who's collecting at Meta and just how much they could collect.
Definitely something to think about.
Okay.
Speaking of complex hardware and maybe tricky value propositions, let's shift to Apple's new M5 iPad Pro.
Right. So the reviews are in, and the consensus seems to be the physical hardware.
Yeah.
largely unchanged from the M4 model.
Same thin design, same prices, starting at $999 for the 11-inch, $1,299 for the 13-inch.
And the same, frankly, amazing tandem OLED screen. That tech with the 2 stacked OLED layers, still unbeatable for brightness and longevity.
So if the outside looks the same, what about the inside? Is the M5 chip a big leap? Some reviews suggest it's marginal.
Well, marginal depends on what you're doing, right? Compared to the M4, the CPU gain is only around 11%. Not huge.
Okay.
But the GPU gain, that's a hefty 34%.
So graphics performance is where the real difference is.
Exactly. So if you're doing intense visual work, 3D rendering, serious video editing, maybe complex AI workflows on device, that GPU boost could actually matter quite a bit. It's a massive jump if you're coming from an M1 or M2 iPad, obviously.
What else is new? Anything tangible?
Funny enough, maybe the biggest physical change you actually notice is the charger.
The charger, really?
Yeah, it now comes with a 40-watt fast charger in the box. Gets you to 50% charge in about 30 minutes. So that's something.
Okay, a faster charger is nice, but not exactly revolutionary. So where's the real story here?
The software. This is where we see that convergence theme again. The M5 hardware is really just setting the stage for iPadOS 26.
Right, this is the update that's supposed to make the iPad feel more like a Mac, isn't it?
That's the promise. And it seems to deliver quite a bit more this time. We finally get proper windowing for apps.
Meaning apps can overlap and be resized freely, like on a laptop.
Yep. Free-form multitasking. Plus, they've apparently made big improvements to the Files app, making it much more capable.
Okay, so it's genuinely closing that gap between tablet and laptop, potentially.
It's getting closer than ever. The hardware has always been powerful, arguably overpowered for what the OS allowed. Now, iPadOS 26 seems to be unlocking more of that potential.
But the question remains, is it enough to justify the price? Especially when you add the Magic Keyboard and the Pencil Pro. You're easily pushing $1,800 or more.
Yeah, and that's the crux of it, isn't it? For that money, you could get a very capable MacBook Air or even a Pro.
So, is it a true laptop replacement now?
Closer, definitely closer. But reviewers still point out it falls short on some specific pro-level Mac software and maybe some advanced browser functionalities. It's not quite there yet for everyone.
So the takeaway is,
if you already have an M4 iPad Pro, probably stick with it. The M5 gains aren't transformative unless you desperately need that extra GPU power.
But if you're upgrading from an older model like an M1 or M2,
then the combo of the M5 chip and the new capabilities in iPadOS 26 makes this arguably the best tablet experience money can buy. It's just a lot of money.
Especially with those accessories. Okay, so we've seen hardware lines blurring with the glasses and software lines blurring with the iPad. Now let's look at how AI might be blurring the lines in the labor market.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Airbnb CEO Brian Chesky had some strong opinions recently about AI and job displacement.
What's his take? Is he worried?
Actually, kind of the opposite, at least in the short to medium term for certain sectors. He believes jobs in hospitality and service industries are relatively safe from AI for the next, say, 5 to 10 years.
Why is that?
Because fundamentally, people still crave the human element in those kinds of experiences. He gave examples like, wanting a human sommelier to talk about wine with you in Bordeaux, not an AI.
Or not wanting a robot checking you into your rental in Lake Como.
Exactly. He thinks that human connection is a kind of moat, protecting those jobs for a while.
Okay, but what about other jobs, the white-collar ones AI is supposedly coming for?
That's where his thinking gets really interesting. He actually sees Airbnb potentially becoming a sort of economic refuge.
A refuge? How?
He thinks that as AI starts displacing jobs like paralegals, coders, data analysts, roles experts predict are highly vulnerable, those displaced workers might turn to platforms like Airbnb to monetize other skills or services.
Connecting the dots there. So if your coding job gets automated, maybe you become an Airbnb host or offer experiences or
offer other services, which ties into his broader vision for Airbnb, turning it into an everything app.
Right, expanding beyond just booking stays.
Exactly. They're already adding things like private chefs, massage therapists, photographers, services that displaced professionals might offer.
So positioning Airbnb as the platform for this potentially growing gig workforce.
Seems like it. And here's where AI comes back in a big way. Chesky told investors that because of AI, quote, everything is now back on the table.
Meaning they might enter markets they previously wouldn't have touched?
Potentially. He hinted at things like maybe Airbnb flights, markets that seemed mature and dominated by incumbents.
How would AI help them break into something like flights?
By completely reimagining the user experience. Instead of the filters and lists you see on traditional booking sites,
Yeah.
imagine an AI native interface. You just tell it what you generally want, and the AI synthesizes vast amounts of data flight options, accommodation, experiences, timing, and generates a personalized itinerary or booking option that just wasn't possible before.
So using AI not just as a feature, but as the core interface to create a totally different, maybe much better user experience.
Precisely. It signals a real ambition to leverage AI fundamentally, to disrupt established industries by rethinking how users interact with them from the ground up.
Wow. That's a pretty radical vision for a company that started with air mattresses.
It really is. And it shows how seriously major players are considering AI's potential to reshape not just tasks, but entire business models and user paradigms.
Fascinating stuff.
Okay, and before we wrap up our look at today's Connecting the Dots, let's thank our other sponsor, Skony.
Right, Skony offers premium golf shoes. If you're looking for great style and performance on the course, check them out.
And just like with Old Glory, use our promo code SNARFUL, SNARFUL at checkout for 15% off your entire purchase. You can find them at skony.com. That's SKONI.com.
Perfect. Okay, let's quickly recap the connections we've made today.
All right. First up, those Oakley Meta Vanguard glasses. They're pushing hands-free fitness tracking into the social media age.
But watch out for that tricky three-way setup and definitely double-check those data privacy settings, especially with Meta involved.
Second, the M5 iPad Pro. Combined with iPadOS 26, it's making its strongest case yet as a laptop alternative, really blurring that tablet computer line.
Yeah, a major step in software finally catching up to the hardware's potential, even if that total package price is pretty eye-watering.
And finally, Airbnb CEO, Brian Chesky. He's betting that the human touch will shield service jobs from AI for years to come.
While positioning Airbnb itself as a potential destination and everything app for white-collar workers who might be displaced by that same AI. A really interesting strategic pivot.
It is. And that brings us back to Chesky's big AI bet. He wants to build AI-native experiences, maybe even tackle something like flights.
Okay.
So here's a thought for you.
Okay.
What kind of radically new AI-powered Airbnb flights experience something truly different from the Expedia or Google flights you use? Now, what would that actually have to look like to convince you to switch?
That is a fascinating question to chew on. What would an AI travel agent need to do?
Something to think about.
We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.